Hey, this is Ish, and today I want to give you dating advice for empath men out there. So, you would think that being very sensitive and being a very good listener would be all these great qualities, and you'd have no problem attracting a date or getting into a relationship, right? But this often isn't the case. Whenever you hear about, a lot of empaths and you talk to them, you'll find that some of them may have some difficulties. First of all, getting a date, and then secondly, actually maintaining a relationship. And I'm going to go over the reasons why. And specifically, I'm going to give you three reasons as to why many empath men struggle in this aspect of their lives. So the three main reasons are: number one, they overthink things. Number two is that they suppress their masculine energy. And number three is that they lack personal boundaries and a sense of self and also personal power. I'm going to be going over these in detail. So the first thing is overthinking. So naturally, when an empath goes into a room, they're constantly looking in their environment for different subtleties and different fluctuations. They're hyper aware of different variables like the lighting in the room, how people are, sitting, what are their body language like, what are their micro expressions. Is energy in the room, very positive, or is like some tension in the air? There are a lot of very subtle things that empaths can pick up on that most people would not. And this obviously comes with a lot of pros attached to it, but also some negatives as well. And the reason why it could be a negative is that you're constantly like in your head scanning for different things that you actually don't end up taking action. So you're almost paralyzing yourself by constantly like being overly cautious. Now, this is certainly better than the other extreme example where you are so oblivious to your environment that you are now infringing on other people without even realizing it, or violating their boundaries without even thinking about it. And this is not good, obviously. But there is something to be said for people that just naturally just don't have that filter in their head where they just go after things, because they tend to be more proactive and they do get things that they want simply by just taking action. And this is something that a lot of empaths tend to struggle with, because they're obviously, in their heads a lot, trying to analyze things and wait for the perfect moment to arise. But oftentimes this isn't the case. A lot of the times they're missing out on opportunities where if they had just acted, the solution would have been solved and they would have gotten the thing that they want. So some practical solutions for empaths is: number one, face your fears, because a lot of empaths just naturally have a lot of fear built in because they don't want to come across in a certain light, or they're overly cautious. But what you'll find is that if you do take baby steps in a small direction of what you want to do, you'll find that the thing that was stopping you wasn't actually as bad as you thought it was. And the second thing is to take momentum. And you'll find that when you're in a social environment, you're naturally kind of just stuck inwards. Your energy is going inwards. And also it is going outwards, but you're scanning your environment. And instead, what you want to do is be the proactive one. And this is done by first socializing with other people, getting out of your comfort zone. And then what you'll find over time is that you'll naturally feel more energy to go out and talk to people, and you'll start to become the proactive one in the environment rather than the reactive one in the environment. And this is pretty powerful. And by the way, your empath ability doesn't just like go away. So it's not like you're gonna magically transform into another person, but you will become the more confident version of yourself by taking action and building momentum. Now, the second reason is the lack of polarity in a relationship, or suppressing the masculine part of your nature. So in every relationship, to create a certain dynamic and attraction, there are two poles of energy that need to be present. One is the masculine energy, which is more about leading, and then there is the feminine energy, which is more receptive. And the reason why this is aimed at for empath men is that a lot of empath men who are trying to get with women who are a bit more on the feminine side, they tend to struggle. And this is both not only in the initial attraction part, but also in once they're actually in a relationship, they struggle to maintain the attraction. And the reason why is that they have essentially gone completely into the feminine pole, and they're lacking their own masculine energy. And this is something they probably had a long time ago, but they suppressed it and in favor of taking on more of that feminine qualities, such as being very receptive, becoming very sensitive, being a very good listener, and just being open-minded rather than having your own vision and kind of guiding things and taking more of a leadership role, which is associated with the masculine energy. And again, there's nothing wrong with having these more feminine, developed feminine qualities. But the thing is, a lot of women want both the strong aspect and also the sensitive aspect of you combined. So they want both. They don't want one or the other. And you'll find this typically, like if you've seen those like vampire type TV shows that a lot of girls have like those like fangirl crushes on. Like you'll have like Vampire Diaries or what is the other one? Twilight and also Teen Wolf. In these like TV shows and movies, the main protagonists there, the main actors, they are guys that are obviously very strong, right? They are they're like leaders, they are vampires, so they have like the superhuman strength, right? So they have that over there, and they also take leadership responsibilities. But at the same time, they also have a very sensitive nature and a more reflective nature. None of them are like, crazy, like, out there and like super loud. They're more chill in nature, and they have more of that sensitive quality that you might relate to as an empath guy. So what you'll find is that you have that empathetic quality already within you and that sensitive nature, but you need to work on more of that leadership type quality. So some things you can ponder is number one, how can you lead yourself and also lead other people as well. So this can start by smaller things like taking more control about your life and figuring out your vision and mission in life, which is super attractive. Because the last thing a woman wants is for them to be number one. Maybe like number two would be cool, but definitely not number one in their lives. So they need you to have a bigger purpose that's beyond everything else, and then for them to come along for the ride as well. And for the feminine, trust is also very important. So how could she really trust you if you don't really know where you're going in life? So if you're a very like a go with the flow kind of person, like a lot of empaths are, you'll find that you will struggle in maintaining that attraction because she'll be looking for you to schedule like what you want to do and have a vision in life and go after what you like. And this doesn't have to be like something like starting a business. It could also be doing something very chill. Like, as you know, I teach yoga, I do meditation, my lifestyle is more relaxed, but at least I know what I want to do. So you can start to figure out what you might like, what are your interests, and then start to do that, and you'll actually find you'll automatically get like a different response from your environment and also from a lot of women in your life as well. Now, the next thing you need to work on as an empath man is developing your personal power and also your personal boundaries as well. So just the nature that you are an empath, basically what that means is that you absorb energy around you from other people. You are so open that you are boundaryless. So you don't have any boundaries. You take everything in. And this obviously has those great qualities because you can really attune to other people. But it's also seen as kind of weak because you don't have your own center of frame. And what will tend to happen is that you'll also resort to people-pleasing behaviors because you see other people as yourself. You'll tend not to say anything that might be offensive or might speak your truth. So as a result, you don't really have any kind of life force because you're always tiptoeing around your words. You're not being authentic as well, and you're trying to people please. So you really want to cut those people pleasing behavior out, and you want to learn how to set boundaries in a positive way. And I also have another talk on that, which you can check out. But what this does is that it allows you to set your own boundary and own frame of who you are, what you like, what you don't like. And a lot of people will actually start to gravitate towards you because you're being authentically yourself. And this is also related to being very polarizing because you know exactly who you are and what you want. And as a result of doing that, you'll actually find that a lot of people are like, "Ugh, I don't like this person." But then you don't worry about that. But you want to be focusing on the other half of people that are like, "Wow, I really like this person," because they will like you exactly for who you are. And if you are being more of that lukewarm kind of person where you don't really set your boundaries or really tell people who you are, you'll have a lot of people in the middle that don't really love you or don't really hate you. And this is not really great because they just don't know where you stand, and you have like a lot of like surface level relationships, but nothing really comes deeper than that. So by setting a frame, personal reality of who you are, what you want, you're able to get the types of relationships that you want in your life. So again, just as a recap of these points, if you're an empath man, you have a lot of great gifts as an empath, but you might also need to work on the other side as well. So number one, you need to stop overthinking oftentimes and actually take action, build that forward momentum. And don't worry, your skills of being an empath won't magically disappear. You can still bring that with you, but you do need to put yourself out there and actually risk any kind of rejection or any kind of tension as well. So be comfortable with the tension. Number two, start to embrace your masculine side a bit more if you want more of that dynamic of if you want a feminine partner. Now, if you do want a masculine partner, then hey, go in the feminine direction all the way. But a lot of complaints I get from empath men is that they are having trouble attracting feminine women. So that's one aspect. Then the next point is to develop your personal boundaries and then also your personal power. So what do you stand for? What do you want to do? And really assert that out there in the world. And you'll get people that will appreciate you exactly for who you are rather than getting like lukewarm responses. So I hope this helps. Thank you.